Recently, we have seen quite a number of TV-Out kits released for various Game Boy consoles. We had a couple for the original Game Boy Advance, one for the SP, and another for the DMG. All these kits were great and allowed for TV-Out functionality, however they all had one major shortcoming. They all used a composite video signal. But now we have something new, and it seems like we're moving into a new generation of kits that use HDMI. So, let's take a look at them. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Tito and welcome to another episode of Retro Renew. It seems that the Game Boy modding scene is just ever evolving, and we regularly get new and amazing kits for these handhelds that always seem to bring something new to the table. And today I have another interesting one for you. This is a brand new TV-Out kit for the original Game Boy Advance. Except now, this time around, instead of utilizing a composite video signal like the ones I reviewed previously on this channel, this one uses HDMI. That's right, this kit adds HDMI out to your Game Boy Advance. This is something that the community has been asking for quite some time, basically ever since those composite TV-Out kits came to market. And it looks like that these companies are finally answering those requests. Now, you may also remember that I recently showcased the Game Boy Advance Consolizer kit from Woozle. That kit effectively turned your Game Boy Advance into a home console, complete with a controller port. Now, this kit that I have here is a bit different in that it just offers HDMI out and nothing else. There's no external controller or really much of anything in terms of features other than just the HDMI video out. I think it will be very interesting to see how this kit stacks up in terms of its installation, features, and overall quality. So let's see how this new HDMI kit compares to the Game Boy Advance Consolizer, as well as the various composite video out kits. But before we move on, if you enjoy content like this, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for plenty more retro gaming and modding videos just like this one. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to start off by showing you what's included in this new HDMI kit. Then I'll demonstrate how to install it, review all the features of this kit, go over the pros and cons, and of course provide you with my overall thoughts. So going over the contents of the kit, the first item we have is this custom PCB, which is pretty oddly shaped and has quite a few ZIF connectors. While the shape is odd, it does serve a purpose which we will get into in just a moment. And here you can see the micro HDMI port perched at the top of the PCB. Next we have a pair of 32-pin ribbon connectors. Before you order this kit, you will need to determine whether you have a 32 or 40-pin model Game Boy Advance. You can typically figure this out by looking through the small opening underneath the battery door. If the number you see starts with a 0, then it is most likely a 40-pin model. If it starts with a 1, then it's most likely a 32. You will need to open the console and check to be certain, but this is an easy way to tell and be pretty sure that you do have a certain model. And the last item in the kit are 3 strands of thin gauge wire which will be used to make just a few connections. Now the really interesting thing about this kit is that it's compatible with the original non-backlit LCD, as well as the backlit AGS 101 screen, and also the ribbon-based IPS kits such as the one I have here from Retro Game Repair Shop. The version 2 Funny Playing IPS kit will also work. Now it should be noted that IPS kits that utilize a traditional PCB should not be used for this mod. It's not that they are incompatible, it's just that the PCB is a bit too thick and will most likely cause fitment issues during installation. Now to really make this build shine, I decided to use this IPS ready Funny Playing shell which has some really nice Minish Cap artwork on it. I think it'll really come out looking quite nice. And the last thing you'll need is a micro HDMI to full-size HDMI adapter so that you can actually attach your newly modded Game Boy Advance to an external HD TV. Now if you're interested in picking up either the shell or HDMI kit, Retro Game Repair Shop has provided a 10% discount on all their products including these if you use my links in the video description, as well as the coupon code TITO at checkout. That's TITO. Great, so that's everything I'll be using for this project. Now let me show you how to put this all together. Okay, so we need to start off by opening the Game Boy Advance in order to extract the motherboard. For this project, it's the only thing we'll be using from this donor. Once open, remove the remaining Phillips screws securing the motherboard. And then delatch and remove the LCD ribbon cable. Here is where you can confirm the pin count for your particular Game Boy Advance. As you can see, I do indeed have a 32-pin model. It would show the number 40 here if it were a 40-pin model. Again, make sure you know which model you have so you can order the correct kit. Grab the new front shell and drop in the HDMI PCB to its approximate location. You can then see where you should make the opening for the HDMI port. Mark the ends of the opening with your craft knife. Then remove the board and start removing material. I used my flush cutters to remove a decent amount of plastic, but you can take the slower, more precise route and just use a file. Here you can see I am slowly filing away material until I make an opening that I'm happy with. Periodically check for fitment and make small adjustments with the file. Remember, you can always take material off, but you can't put it back. So take your time and file just a little bit at a time. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. I made my opening a bit too large, but it should be fine. Moving our attention back to the motherboard, tin the test pads SO1 and SO2. This is where our HDMI kit will be tapping the audio signal from. Then solder a wire to each pad. Next, solder those wires to their corresponding pad on the HDMI PCB. Then install the included 32-pin ribbon cable into the bottom ZIF connector with the blue tab facing up, making sure it is fully seated before locking it in. Then put the other end of the same ribbon cable into the motherboard with the contacts facing up as shown. Now let's move our attention to the IPS kit and install it. Like I mentioned previously, this HDMI kit is only compatible with ribbon-based IPS kits such as the one I have here, and the version 2 Funny Playing IPS kit. It's also compatible with the original screen and the AGS 101 screen. Once the ribbon cable is connected, fold the 40-pin section down like this. Then fold the 32-pin section of the ribbon up. Then connect the IPS ribbon cable to the HDMI PCB as shown. And lock it in. Next, carefully flip the PCB over and into position on top of the IPS panel, making sure it is aligned properly. I used a bit of Kapton tape to keep it in place. Then go ahead and install your buttons and membranes. Carefully move the motherboard into position back into the front shell as shown. Then secure it with the 3 Phillips screws. Place the rear shell back on the console and button it all up. I put the finishing touches on the shell by sticking on these really nice Minish cap labels. Then insert a couple batteries. Gently drop in the custom glass screen lens. And you're done. I think this HDMI kit is very interesting. It's definitely something new and fresh that we really haven't seen before. All of the TV-Out kits we've seen to date are essentially an added feature to an existing IPS kit. And the only other Game Boy Advance HDMI kits that are out there are essentially Consolizers that remove the LCD screen completely, but also add controller interfaces. This kit is different from both in that it's not part of an IPS kit, nor is it a full-fledged Consolizer. It's sort of in this middle ground, and I think that's actually really cool. And honestly, the video quality is very good and definitely a step up from the composite TV-Out kits I previously reviewed on this channel. Just take a look at this footage here. Alright, let's quickly go over the features of this HDMI kit. So the way this kit works is that as soon as you plug in a micro HDMI cable, it disables the screen and outputs video to your external monitor. This auto detect feature is really nice, negating the need for you to memorize a special button combination to activate the video out, which was a characteristic of all the prior composite video out kits. Now, once your GBA is plugged in and outputting video to your television, that's it. There's no more functionality to go over. This kit doesn't incorporate features that we've seen in the Consolizer, and I don't think we should expect it to. This HDMI kit only has one purpose, and that is to provide video out through the HDMI port, and nothing else. If you want to do an IPS mod, you'll have to purchase a kit separately. Now, one interesting thing about this kit is the resolution of the output. Through conversations with Retro Game Repair Shop, it appears that the output resolution is 720 by 480, which is considered standard definition. This resolution is precisely 3 times integer scaled from the native 240 by 160, so I can definitely tell on my big screen that the image is a bit soft since it is being stretched to fill the screen. Regardless, it is still sharper and more clear looking than the composite video of the other video out kits. Anyway, those are the primary characteristics and features of this kit. But now let's quickly go over the pros and cons. Starting with the pros, I have to say that this kit was actually pretty simple to install. It only requires 2 wires to be soldered for the audio, and that's it. This kit could theoretically be done without soldering, but you will of course not have audio pass through to your television. However, you will still have audio coming through the GBA's internal speaker. Another thing I really like is the auto detect feature. This is great because you don't need to go through a menu or memorize button combinations to enable the video out functionality, and in my opinion, that greatly simplifies things. Now, while not a full HD signal like the Consolizer kits, the video quality is still a measurable improvement over the composite video kits I looked at previously. However, I don't think it's fair to compare the two as they both offer a different user experience and each have their own discrete pros and cons. Now, another pro is that you get HDMI video out that still allows you to utilize batteries, which is pretty cool. This kit doesn't require you to use external power. And lastly is the price. This kit will cost you $50, which if you compare it to the cost of a Consolizer or that of the composite TV-Out kits, it's cheaper than both. Granted, that's not really a fair comparison because the Consolizer is a more sophisticated mod, and the composite TV-Out kits do come with a full screen IPS replacement. But overall, it's a very interesting product that fills a very specific segment between a Consolizer and TV-Out IPS kits. Okay, so those are the pros. Now let's go over the cons. Now the first con that comes to mind is the shell trimming during the installation process. It's not too difficult if you do take your time, but as you can see from my attempt, the opening for the HDMI port is a bit too large. For me, I think that this is fine, but I know there are some folks out there that are perfectionists, and getting the sizing and position of the opening just right can be a bit challenging. Another con has to do with the video out. My capture card, which is an Elgato HD60S Plus, was not able to pick up the video signal. So for those of you hoping to use this kit to stream online, the compatibility may vary depending on the capture card you are using. Additionally, another con is that there aren't any features when it comes to the video out, such as scan lines or color palettes, that you would normally get from a full-fledged Consolizer kit like Woozle's. And also, since it isn't a Consolizer kit, you don't get the benefit of an external controller port, and you are tethered to the TV by a large HDMI cable. However, I have to say, in the large scheme of things, this is a $50 kit and not a $200 Consolizer kit. So I think that should put things into perspective. The Consolizer kit offers a completely different experience, and there is certainly a place for it, while this kit offers something different. And while these two kits do both offer video out through HDMI, they are completely different and really cannot be compared with one another. To me, I think this kit are for those who want a cleaner video signal than the existing composite video out kits, and also want to be able to take their GBA out and play it on the go. This kit occupies a healthy middle ground between the composite TV-Out kits and the full-featured HDMI Consolizer kits. I think it's a really compelling mod for a very targeted audience who are looking for better video quality through an HDMI port, but still also want to be able to play their console on the go. This is an interesting new product segment that I think has a lot of potential, and as is, does offer some very cool functionality at a very reasonable price. I have to say, I think it's great to have all these modding options, and I'm very curious to see how this product evolves over time. Anyway guys, that about does it for this video. I think this new HDMI kit for the Game Boy Advance is another great modding option for the console. If you have any questions about this kit, let me know down below in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps me and the channel out. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, see you all next Thursday.